It's 19 degrees in Jacksonville, 10 in Plymouth, 7 in Sunderland. Did you know it's a 44% chance of a white Christmas in Aberdeen? This is Teal Talk, the official Jacksonville Jaguars UK and Ireland podcast presented by Gallagher. I'm Jay Lawrence, no relation. He's Kee Ramsorrun.
Hello.
And we are joined in this episode by Reece Parkinson, host of Jaguars UK Weekly on Sky Sports. A bit of a different podcast, actually, this time around, festive edition, as we talk all things Jagsmas and hand out our end of year awards. And Arik Armstead, Walker Little and Brian Thomas Jr. all tell us about the best Christmases. Welcome to Reece. Merry Christmas.
Oh, dude, thank you for having me. Very excited for this.
First, before we get all Christmassy, we got to talk about the game at the weekend.
Do we?
Against the Las Vegas Raiders. We do, even if it's just for like a short period of time. 19-14. Reece, we just seem to talk about one person in particular on this podcast. And
Cam Little.
Cam Little, you're 100% correct. Cam Little. I do feel like we're getting to be a little bit of a broken record about Brian Thomas Jr., but it is for good reason, though, isn't it, Reece?
Yeah. Give that man the Rookie of the Year. I'm calling it. Look, Jaden Daniels will probably be favourite. Also, you got Brock Bowers as well.
For the Raiders, of course. For
the Raiders. Yeah. But I think when you look at, our record this year and Brian Thomas Jr. putting up those numbers, I think it does make it more needs to be taken into consideration. Jaden Daniels was on fire at the start of the season, then kind of cooled off then against the Eagles. Kind of on that now. He's got that like playoff feeling in him, it feels like. But to go over 1,000 on a team like ours this year, I think that's a real achievement. I remember in the pre-season when we was out there, this year been a lot more into who we can potentially draft. But last year I would just kind of did that thing where you just look on the highlights. I was like, YouTube highlights. Who is this Brian Thomas Jr.? And I was like, oh, dude can play. But to instantly do that.
Well, just to put that into context, Reece, the only rookies to finish top 10 in yards and touchdowns. This is a ridiculous set of names. Randy Moss, Adele Beckham Jr., Michael Thomas, Jamar Chase, and now Brian Thomas Jr.
That's some good company, isn't it?
It's not surprising though. Like when you've read that out, it's not like I'm like, oh wow. It's more like, yeah, that makes sense.
Here's another point, Reece. For a lot of it, he's done it without his QB1.
Yeah.
Which is another factor to
what
say.
What does that say about how good Mac is? It's one way of looking at it.
To be fair, we've said on the podcast before. We've said on the podcast.
He gets a lot of heat. I mean, to be fair, maybe that's a whole other conversation.
Well, yeah, and no one's disguising the fact that Mac Jones hasn't lit it up over the last few games when he's quarterback one, but his relationship with Brian Thomas Jr. We spoke about it last week, didn't we, Keith?
We did.
Fair, it hasn't been bad, and there has been moments, and he has been throwing a nice deep ball for Brian Thomas Jr. It's another one-score loss. We'll move on in a second, but
that's 9 now.
Yeah, it's a lot of one-score losses, and it could be different if you manage to get a few of those victories. But at the end of the day, there's no point dwelling on it, especially at this point in the season.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think you can. I know, I remember when we've spoken to JP on the Jaguars UK show that we do. We've spoken to him before, and he always kind of tells me off a little bit for getting too excited about next year already when this one isn't finished. But say we win 3 more of those one-score games, are we in a better position for next year? We sitting here, I'm be real, it is what it is, and I think we got a very good chance for next year to build something special. And if it's a fact of maybe if I phrase it, if you was to offer me 3 more wins this year, would I take them to not even go into the playoffs?
Well, a lot of fans are going to be having conflicting emotions towards that. I think,
but I think okay, so you get 3 more wins. Those one-score games, we kick a field goal and win, or get a turnover and score. Okay, cool. I think you got to think longer term. We are building something here. As much as this season has sucked, I think we can all acknowledge that. I do think, I keep saying this, we have an opportunity to really turn things around next year. Trevor's back. Our team isn't a bad team. Individual players aren't bad. It's just a lot going on around it. But you know what? It could be. Yeah, I'll put that out there. I would rather have what we are now than to have won some of those games, which could deem meaningless next year.
There's been mistakes as well. I mean, mistakes has been like a massive throughout this whole season.
Yep.
A couple that happened in the last game, Kee, a couple turnovers. Brenton Strange turnover towards the end of the first half. Tank Bigsby as well with a turnover. Just, I don't even think we need to really talk about that, to be honest, actually. Like, we just know that these things have happened, and they have been happening.
Dude, it's one of those things that we've said before, isn't it? In order to win, they need to stop losing to themselves.
Yeah. The young guys have been playing well. Let's just finish on this.
Yeah.
Nice positivity. The likes of Mason Smith playing the best game of the year. You got to look at the positives. We've spoken about some positives. I think, the rookie class on the whole, there has been some players that are going to be good for the next few years. So let's try and look on the positive, as we've been trying to do over the last few weeks. That's the entire season, I suppose, Kee.
Yeah, dude, regardless of a tough season, there are positives to be taken. And the biggest positive, I think, is that the future of this franchise, based on a lot of first and second year players, can look pretty bright.
Agreed.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
I think that actually is a great way of looking at it, though. It is. It's like, take one for the team this year and build towards the future. I completely agree. We're actually, like, it's not that bad. Like, it's been a bad season, but it's actually not that bad,
Forever the optimist here. Reece Parkinson, everybody. Let's talk Christmas now. Do you know what? With some of the team. Let's do it. Let's get them involved. In a moment, Walk a Little, Arik Armstead. But first, man of the hour, Brian Thomas Jr. Can you tell us about the best Christmas present that you've ever received?
For me, it had to be a PlayStation. I got the PlayStation. I got a PlayStation 2. I got a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. But for me, I would say the PlayStation 5 was my best Christmas present.
What's your game of choice?
Yeah, are you FIFA
Call
or
of Duty.
Madden?
I'm gonna
Call of Duty. What?
Call of Duty.
What Warzone?
Yeah, Warzone or just regular Call of Duty.
You any good?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
You would say that. Yeah, you would say that. And your best Christmas memory?
Christmas is being able to be around my family and friends. I would say my best Christmas memory was probably getting my cousin a present and him just going crazy about it, which was actually another PlayStation that he wanted. He had been wanting it for a while. So just being able to get that for him and seeing him go crazy was probably one of the best memories I had.
Dude, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, Walker, we just like to know has been your favorite ever Christmas present?
Favorite ever Christmas present? I would say the most memorable one, which actually is kind of the opposite of what your question is, was when I was a little kid. I had just started to read. I didn't really like reading at all, but I just started, and my mom gave me a bookmark for Christmas, and I started bawling, crying because I thought it was the worst gift ever. And so we still talk about it to this day about how awful, and I stand by how awful that present was. And she always talks about how she thought it was nice and how it's just like a gesture towards me starting to read. And I was like, who wants a bookmark for Christmas? So that is probably the most memorable one, I would say.
You know what? My next question was going to be, what's your favorite Christmas memory? Is that it? Is that your favorite?
I mean, that's
memory?
definitely one of them. I would say, obviously, there's others in terms of just growing up. We one thing we always did, my parents would kind of make like this trail mix type stuff that they'd put glitter in. They called it, we called it like reindeer food, and we'd go out to the front lawn and go sprinkle it all through the lawn. And we always, as kids, and I had an older brother who was 5 years older than me, it always ended up like at first being real fun and lighthearted, and then getting real competitive towards the end of who was going to sprinkle more of it around, and people are stealing each other. So I feel like I ended up in tears a few times doing that as well. But it's fun, and that's a great memory.
I think it's funny how we've asked you two, nice Christmas memories, both of which end with you bawling your eyes out.
Yeah, I was a sensitive kid for sure.
Yeah.
And now all of your family are expecting bookmarks for Christmas.
Exactly, and that's what they'll get for sure.
Walker, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you joining Teal Talk.
Yeah, thank you all.
Christmas memories, Arik. Can you tell me your favorite Christmas memory?
My favorite Christmas memory now that I have kids, what I would say is being a father on Christmas has been amazing. But back to my childhood, man, I just remember, being Christmas was always like super family oriented and just being around my all my family and my extended family. We would have like our Christmas in the morning with my family, and then we would all go to my grandma's house in the afternoon. We would eat, play video games, go outside, play basketball, play a little bit of football every now and then. And then my granddad was a big bowler, so like we would always end the night going to I guess for some reason bowling alleys are open on Christmas. So
I had no idea that was the
yeah,
case.
we would go bowling as well too. So it was a lot of fun.
I mean, that is the first time I've ever heard of anyone bowling on Christmas Day. I feel like that should be like an Armstead tradition,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
from
It
now
was
on.
it was a lot of fun. At like the end of the day, we would go to the bowling alley.
Nice. Arik, thank you so much for joining Teal Talk today. Have a good Christmas.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Merry Christmas.
Brian Thomas Jr., Walker Little, Arik Armstead as well, who goes bowling every Christmas. Would you go bowling on Christmas Day, Reece?
I don't understand people that leave their home on Christmas Day. I've never understood that.
Would you go for a walk?
No. But I think that comes down
Sounds fun around
that
yours.
comes down to my childhood though, and that again is a complete different
Do you
conversation.
know?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I just
Maybe I
like
don't
to
understand.
like to imagine that, like, different family members have invited you around for Christmas, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't actually leave the house on Christmas. My Christmas Day tradition is I don't go outside the front door.
Do you know what? If Arik Armstead asked me to go bowling with him, I'm not saying no.
Yeah, to
He's
be
a
fair.
big guy.
I bet he'd be good though. To be fair,
Yeah.
I bet he'd be good, especially if he's been playing throughout his childhood for Christmas Day. You know what? Let's have a nice Christmas conversation about
Oh,
the
yes,
Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's try and answer as many of these questions as we can. Some of which we've actually learned over the last few weeks as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with, and it could be any of the ones we've just mentioned as well. Which Jaguar can go into the festive period full of Christmas cheer? The Jag with the most to celebrate. Let's go with Reece Parkinson.
Oh, that's easy. Am I a cop out for saying BTJ? Be real with me.
It's a cop out, but it's a correct
the truth,
answer.
though. It's like,
Yeah.
So I can.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, cool.
I
Brian
should have
Thomas
gone
Jr.
first. I should have taken him.
Yeah,
We
Brian
should have
Thom-
also checked with each other what are our answers going to be,
That's a
because
really good
I need to
point.
think on the spot now.
Cam Little for you.
Yeah.
Okay, no. No, Brian Thomas Jr. I think you go into Christmas, you're gutted with the record, but at the same time, you've done a brilliant job. That I think you're loved in Jacksonville already.
Yeah, and it's true actually. I mean, we spoke about this before, didn't we? How he is now, along with Trevor Lawrence, going to be, and I suppose Josh Hines Allen as well, the face of the franchise.
Yeah, you'll feel it. You'll feel like
feel it,
those three faces that you drive around. That's got to be a good feeling. You drive around a stadium next year is going to be his face on there. Like, everyone, when we go in the summer and we do those interviews last year, it's a lot of Trevor, it's a lot of Josh Hines Allen, it's a lot of Etienne. You get the same players coming. Tank would be mentioned, but next summer it's gonna be everyone's gonna say BTJ.
Yeah.
Like pretty much everyone. Maybe even more than Trevor. Really, like I feel like when you have like a wide receiver that's hot, it's like a Justin Jefferson sort of thing. Like it easily becomes.
And it's because expectations weren't actually massive either on him before this season because of.
I don't think people
the
knew
rugby
much about.
aspect.
I know it was like LSU, like he was.
Well, he wasn't the number
balling, but
one
he wasn't
receiver.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at LSU.
yeah.
What about you, Kee?
I mean, Reece joked about it, but it is actually going to be Cam Little.
Oh no!
You can't just pick it because you really like him.
Why not? I do like him.
Why is it Cam Little?
It's big, dude. If you look at what he's achieved this season, equaling the franchise record with a 59-yarder, he's only missed 2. He's hit the majority of his field goals.
Key, is that something that, like, as a field goal kicker though, are you like, what do we judge on excellence in
Consistency.
like? You missed 2, but still, like, is that to say like, oh, going? I actually do agree with you in some part, but just if I'm playing a bit devil advocate here, if you're looking for like excellence to be like, I've crushed this year, surely whilst he's eating whatever Americans have for Christmas dinner, well, turkey, I'm assuming. I was thinking of something more exciting for dessert, but surely he's thinking, yeah, his family go, you've done so well, Cam. He's a bit like, but those 2, Like one maybe a bit different, only because he's field goal kicker. I feel like you have to judge what we do.
Well, it's interesting you actually say that. It's interesting you say that though, Reece, because earlier on this season I was having a conversation with a different NFL kicker, and I asked him what is like the standard, your standard in practice, and he was like, it's 90%. Like if you go underneath 90%, you are not happy.
Do we know what he is?
Day.
How many has he taken?
I know that he's missed. I'm pretty sure he's only missed 2. What that percentage is, I don't know. I think it's like 18 out of 20, or that's what it was the week before the Raiders game. But anyway, so it's probably going to be roughly about 90%. But to answer your question, Reece, if he's sitting there eating turkey on Christmas dinner, what is he thinking? He's probably thinking this is a little bit dry.
Absolutely.
Turkey's too dry,
it's
bro.
so dry.
Turkey's too dry.
It's so dry.
Don't be eating that anymore. Let's all move on.
And then you look at each other, and no one wants to say it out loud because the person's cooked it.
Yeah.
But you're all looking at each other, and you're like, dry.
Turkey has no place on the dinner table. Secondly, you are absolutely right that he will be thinking about those 2 missed field goals. And if you remember when Coach Farwell came over in the summer, he said it's one of the things that he loves about Cam the most is that if he's in practice and he misses one, it's that one that he's thinking about. He's not thinking about anything else. He's thinking about the one that he missed.
I'm going to go with, even though the fact that he actually hobbled off with a bit of an ankle injury in the last game, the man we just heard from actually walk a little as well, signing that big contract over the last few weeks.
Nice, dude.
By the sound of things, hasn't had that much time to properly celebrate it either. So I imagine that this Christmas, well, he can go all out a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Sign a big contract. Nice way to celebrate. Sounds like he enjoys Christmas, as well. So
great shout.
Let's go with walk a little. You are the Secret Santa in the Jaguars locker room. What presents are you buying for members of your team, and what would you write in the card? Kee Ramsorrun.
That's so great. That's a lovely question. I am going to buy, or do you know what? I'm going to change that. I am going to make a Cornish pasty for Ross Mattersick. And I'm going to write in the card because I know that you love these, Ross. I know. There's no guessing. He wasn't being.
It looked like he didn't like him.
No, dude, he loves a Cornish pasty.
So you are going to be giving him a Cornish pasty.
I'm going to make and present him with a homemade, fresh Cornish pasty.
I was going to say, you need to make sure you get this. There's nothing worse than a Cornish pasty that has been shipped over from London to Jacksonville.
Dude, I will pay my own airfare to get it to you.
Do you know what? That would be a strange Secret Santa present. I'm not going to lie. And Secret Santa for you is Kee Ramsorrun, all the way from the UK.
Throwback humour, Jay.
With a Cornish pasty. Yes, exactly. What are you saying, Reece?
Oh, I'm going to go with a robot Hoover. You know the ones that you see at kind of airports and whatnot? You know who?
Yeah, I love it.
David Lloyd.
I love it.
He's obsessed. Well, his family are obsessed with keeping his room clean. So whenever he comes on a tour, his room is spotless. Not that I've been invited to his room, because that would be very strange. But he has told us multiple times that it's one of these things. He's just military family. Everything's clean. So I think a robot Hoover, just to give him some peace of mind, he'd really appreciate that.
That's a really good answer. Is
That's
it a
lovely
Roomba?
answer.
Along with a Cornish pasty.
Along with a Cornish. To be honest, I think it's got to
I was going to say, you're not going to give him a Cornish pasty as well. It's weird.
I think that before we get into my choice, everyone's getting a Cornish pasty.
Yeah.
I think we can all decide
Let's just assume it.
Everyone's getting one.
Cornish pasties for everyone.
No matter what happens.
I'll do a big batch.
Well, actually, I'm going to say that, in fact, I'm not going to give any member of the Jacksonville Jaguars a Secret Santa present, and for no other reason, because I've got somebody else that I'd like to give a present. Neither of you two. Kee's face there.
Unbelievable. I was so excited.
It is actually Anton Harrison's mother that I'm going to be giving a...
Oh, dude, I like it.
I'm going to be giving a present, because we have spoken before. We spoke with Anton Harrison over Thanksgiving, the fact that he had to make mac and cheese because he was not satisfied with his mother's mac and cheese.
He didn't say that.
He did, yeah.
He said it.
About his own mother.
About his own mother.
My respect for Anton was 100%.
Say that to his face, mate.
Never.
Say it to his face.
Never. Now it's at 99.
So I am going to give a book on how to make mac and cheese
Excellent.
to Anton Harrison's mum.
Jay, I would highly advise you to not do that. Okay? The optics of that would look very bad.
What would I write in the card? By bear in mind?
Jay.
Oh, here we go.
I'd say, here's a present for you. Love, Key Ramsorrun.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Last week, Arik Armstead talked about film night at Josh Hines Allen's. Now, we actually suspect that they were actually watching game film, but we were tickled by the idea of going around Josh Allen's with snacks, DVD. Which Jags player's house would you like to visit? What would you take to eat, and what film would you watch? Let's go, Key.
I would like to go round to Andrew Wingard's house.
Oh,
I would
great
take
shout.
salt and vinegar fava beans.
Okay.
And I would put on the movie Batman, Tim Burton's 1989 version, because Andrew Wingard, like myself, is a big fan of the 80s, and that's a very 80s camp film. It's also the greatest film ever made. No discussion. Let's move on.
I'm going to go with Evan Ingram. I'm going to go to Evan Ingram's house. I'm going to take... what should I take? I haven't figured that one out. I'll come back to it. What film would I watch? Well, I would take game film, but of a completely different sport. I would take the Peter Crouch highlights of when he was playing, because he didn't score a touchdown in London this time around, but he did say that he had a celebration sorted. I don't know what the celebration is. I hope that it was Peter Crouch's robot. Now, just in case that he'd never seen it before or never heard of it before, there is only one way to so he's made aware of it. So next time, when the Jags come to London and Evan Ingram catches that touchdown, he's in the end zone, and what comes to mind? Well, he's recently been watching the Peter Crouch's England highlights from 2006. So he's going to be doing the robot.
Superb.
There we go. I don't know what we're eating. What did he say he really likes to eat?
Lemon pepper chicken.
Lemon pepper chicken. We're going to say that. Reece.
Anton Harrison.
Okay, is it mac and cheese?
Yes.
Is his mum around?
Yes.
Great.
Nothing more to be said.
Fantastic. What film are you watching?
What film?
I will go with...
Do you know what? You could put on Joey Tribbiani's pilot episode of Mac and Cheese.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Or he is very good. He loves the old, going around and reviewing food, doesn't he? So maybe like a, I don't know, man versus food, London special or something,
nice.
like that. Here's a good one. Which Jags player would you most like to be? I feel like this is an existential question.
Live as them for the rest of eternity.
Let's say live as them.
No, they're mortal like everyone else, Reece.
Yeah,
I know you put them on a high pedestal, but they are mortal.
Whose life would you like to step into for a undetermined amount of time?
Okay, you might. Okay, Pat Murder. Because I've never been to Australia.
Or is it because you just want Love Island hitting you up saying, "Hey, can you? Are you free?"
Australia is actually on my bucket list.
Is it?
So I actually really want to do that. And the
know that you don't have to be him to go to Australia.
No. I want to be him. I'm not sure if you've met the man. Who's the dude who plays Aquaman?
Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not saying they look the same, but their physique. Patrick Murter is a god amongst men. To be him for a day, I would topless on the beach and I would just stand there.
You've made this podcast weird, man.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Do you want to care?
I know exactly what he means by it.
He's a stud.
Fair enough. I will say. Well, I seem to have a fascination.
I know where this is going. It's going to be Josh Hines Allen to experience what it's like to be that big.
So what's different about that and Patrick Murter?
Because I think
gods.
that, let's pull back the podcast curtain. I know that people are listening to this thinking I'm probably 6'4", 6'5".
Is that what you think? That's what the people are thinking all the time they listen to this podcast.
The tallest.
I think Jay is 6'4".
I'm not the tallest man in the world.
So.
I wonder what it's like to live as a very large human being.
Logan Cook.
And I just
Very
think it'd
tall.
be interesting to experience as someone that has never experienced.
Oh, so you're
that.
going Josh Hines Allen?
Let's go, Josh Hines Allen.
Oh,
yeah. I
nice.
shook his hand. That's as far. I've not met Josh Hines Allen, but I
Okay.
shook his hand, and I did feel like a small human being. We've gone to yours, Kee.
No, we haven't done
Let's
mine.
go, Keys. Last then.
I would like to be Ross Matasik because
You really like Cornish
I love
pasties.
Cornish pasties.
That's not your answer.
No.
That's not your answer.
No, do you know what? I refuse to answer this question because
Oh.
I'm so comfortable in my own skin.
God.
I
bet you're a hoot on Christmas Day, aren't you?
my
leave
therapist
the
is
house.
so happy with me. No, I actually Andrew Wingard. There we go. Let's move on.
All right, I think you need to put more effort into the last round, Kee.
Nah.
And we can do this amongst ourselves, actually, instead of, doing this one each. Who are the 3 wise men of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
They're sitting right here.
In what sense? In what sense?
Well, let's
As
try
in
and...
genuinely wise, like Yoda.
You can look at it that way. I suppose you could look at gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
What's frankincense and myrrh stand
It's
for?
a really good question, and one that I've never been able to... One of them smells nice.
Let's do that then.
Which one's that?
Oh, I mean, Mr. Khan always smells incredible.
I've never been that close. Actually, I have once on the... You're right.
Does
I
it smell
have
very
once.
nice?
It does
Mr. Khan
smell very
always
good,
smells
yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, he does. He does.
So he's the one that... Is that frankincense or is that myrrh?
I think that's frankincense.
Yeah.
Frankincense, okay. The frankincense, we're saying Mr. Khan.
Mr. Khan?
What's
Um,
myrrh?
Myrrh, not sure.
Do you know what myrrh is?
Myrrh,
I don't know what myrrh is,
Yeah.
but yeah.
one sec.
Myrrh.
Let's have a look. What is myrrh? Myrrh is a yellow, fragrant... It is potentially a healer, I suppose.
Oh.
A potential healer.
Oh, then
would I
it's
wanna be around on a
Jeff
sad
Ferguson, who is
Oh,
the athletic trainer.
Great shout.
Is myrrh.
Yeah.
And gold, then, are we saying... I mean, the obvious
gotta
one is
be
going to be...
Brian Thomas
It's got to
Jr.
be BTJ
Yeah.
because he is absolute gold.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to go with straight up as, got a contract and worth a lot of money now after getting a new contract, but I like BTJ.
More literal.
I was going more literal with that.
Trevor
So,
Lawrence.
okay, so we'll do that. Let's do the 3 wise men, though, in terms of
No, that's,
states,
I go.
icons. You think the 3 icons of the
Trevor,
Jaguars?
Josh,
Tony
Thomas
Baselli.
Jr.
What did you do?
Oh,
Tony Baselli.
Tony Pacelli. Okay.
Yeah. He's the only Jaguar to make it into the Hall of Fame. Tony is the greatest
so
ever.
let's do it off. We spoke about earlier about let's do it off front of the stadium. You can only fit 3 people on there, past and present. Who are you putting on there?
Oh wow, dude,
Because
that's
that's the only
so
way to
good.
answer this, right?
Past and present.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you've got, as you say, Tony Pacelli. I think
Yeah.
you've got
Fred Taylor.
and you've got Trevor Lawrence there as well as the current. Now, if you're looking more current, then I think that you've got. Then I think Josh Hines Allen comes into the mix. I think Brian Thomas Jr.
Let's
as you
do
spoke
current.
about
Let's do
before.
current.
As you spoke about before, Brian Thomas Jr. He has inserted himself there.
Yeah.
I think you've got Trevor Lawrence, obviously, and then you probably got Josh Hines Allen. Would you agree with that, Kee?
Current.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Josh Hines Allen has to be up there, especially last season, single season sack record. I think Josh Hines Allen has to be up there. Do you know what? The
You're not
season
gonna
that he's
put
had,
Trevor, are
Brian
you?
Thomas Jr., I think you have
Yeah,
to...
who's your third? I feel like your head's debating even putting Trevor on there.
It's between Ross Matasik and Andrew Wingard.
It's just going to be Josh Hines Allen, Brian Thomas Jr.
Trevor.
and a Cornish pasty.
There we go.
Okay. Trevor on there as well. Okay.
Let's have Trevor on there.
I think we've gone through a nice little
Let's
Christmas,
just put our QB1 on there, yeah.
a nice Christmas festive experience there with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thank you so much to both of you. One thing that is going on around the festive period is the Sky Sports NFL show featuring Reece Parkinson.
Yes.
Reece, what's going on the next edition of the show? It's on Boxing Day.
It is on
Right.
Boxing Day. And we are going to speak to who should be here. Speaking about the Jags without another J, but his last name ends in P, is weird. So, speaking of JP,
All right.
Tony
which
Baselli,
stands
the Hall
for
of
Jurassic
Famer,
Park.
which stands for
obviously.
Jurassic Park. We do have the Hall of Famer Tony Baselli give his thoughts as well on our upcoming match. But yeah,
Do you want me to do this?
How do you want me to sell this, Key?
So, a highlight this week is going to be Mic'd Up, which is a nice, juicy segment in the second half of the show. And you always say is your favourite part of the show, isn't it, is Mic'd Up?
Yeah. I just need to know which player, potentially, that we're going to mic it up. Oh, we don't know.
No.
So, a highlight of the show will be... Highlight of the show is going to be Mic'd Up, which is my favourite part. I think there's nothing better than feeling like you're there. If there's any way to experience, if the closest way you can experience being an NFL player, I think, is mic'd up. You know, because you can hear what they're saying. I love it even when they're on the bench and they're just chatting nonsense. You feel like you're there. So that's always a highlight. And then of course, my brother from another mother, JP, and then Hall of Famer Tony Baselli as well.
You and JP have a lovely Christmassy chat this week. It's really nice.
Yeah, we do actually. Oh. Okay.
No, don't give it away.
Yeah, no. If there's any reason to watch the show, JP's beard, his beard game is incredible.
Leave it at that.
In a good way, or are you being like sarcastic?
Oh, you'll find out.
Okay.
Oh, you'll find out, Jay.
When and where, Key Ramsorrun?
It is
Sky
on
Sports NFL Thursday at 9 p.m.
There we go. 2 more games to go, both winnable. We won't talk about the last one, so let's figure out what we think is going to happen against the Titans.
Jay,
at home.
you have to give your prediction before me so that I can do the opposite of you to mathematically stay in the competition.
Yes, so we do have standings, don't we?
how
And you do get to feature this time for the second time, I think, this year,
the
actually.
Wembley
Yeah, you did after the Wembley game.
Yeah.
You gave a prediction.
So we have standings. The person that wins does get to take some Jags merchandise from the other person.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good right now.
Yeah, because
The
my merch
standings
is
are
better than
as
yours.
follows.
That's why.
The standings are as follows. Key on 3. The fan or the guest is at 5, and I am at 6.
Oh, Jay.
So there's still an opportunity for the fan to leapfrog, and in theory, actually, there's still an opportunity for Key to do all right, because if you get the score correct, then you get a bonus point as well. We'll get to the predictions after we discuss it. So it's the Tennessee Titans this weekend, a game that is imminently winnable.
Yeah.
Against a team that is in quarterback flux. I think it's fair to say Mason Rudolph started in the last game. They did manage to get back into it against the Indianapolis Colts, but for the majority of the game, they were not into this. A very winnable game, but I said that last week, Key.
And the week before we said it, Jay.
I was really
Raiders
confident.
and Jets, we said
Against
it.
the Jets.
Yeah. But I was particularly confident last week. I was basically thinking I was very confident that the Jags would win against the Raiders, and obviously it didn't happen. So should we be as bullish, Key?
I'm not giving you any help. Do your prediction and I will do the opposite.
Talk about the game. Talk about the game.
So, dude, I'm going to say exactly the same as I said last week. I think the Jaguars are still, a better team than the Titans. I think they can win this game. I think the Titans are coming off a loss. I think the Jags are a more talented side and they should be winning this matchup.
What do you reckon,
That's all you can say. To be honest, I feel like you could have actually said that to about more than half of the games we played this year.
Particularly the last couple of weeks. Like I said exactly the same thing about the Raiders and the Jets.
Jets and Raiders, you should have, in my opinion. One score game. You know what? We lose by a 1 score game.
Okay.
If you're asking me to put a bet here, right? I'm gonna go with our history. And we'll go 1 score game.
Give us an actual score. Go on, mate. Do it quicker than that.
Lose by 3.
What's the score?
13-10.
13-10.
To the Titans.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
That's not what I want to happen.
Well, I'm going to
I've got to rep for the fans here, right? Because if we get this and it's 6, then we're drawing with you.
I'm going to switch. And I will say 13-10 to
Jags.
the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are a better team against the Titans. Key.
So technically, to mathematically stay in the competition,
You got to do.
I have to do the opposite
of both.
of Jay.
No.
So that, but I can't do it. I can't choose the Titans. I'm not going to, and I also don't think they'll win. I think the Jaguars will win. And I think it will be 24-21. And I think I will get 2 points.
Okay. Very confident.
Nice.
Actually, I say very confident, but your confidence has actually waned week by week from your extremely confident first few weeks of extremely specific
He
predictions.
predicted the Super Bowl, didn't he?
Yeah,
Remember rightly? Yeah.
No, it was like
it was great. Like
Cam Little catches
Little
a
with 60
touchdown.
yeah,
Or
with a
something like
60-plus
that.
yarder. It's really settled down, hasn't it? It's not fun for me anymore, these predictions.
Ridiculous. Just a reminder, by the way, the final huge prize in the 12 Days of Jagsmas competition on all the Jaguars UK and Ireland social channels from 11 a.m. on the 23rd of December to 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve is a trip to Florida. We spoke about this last week.
No
It's
way.
actually
Amazing prize.
mad.
We can enter?
I think it would be frowned
Probably
upon.
not. Yeah.
2 flights, 4 nights of accommodation, 2 spots in the 2025 Kissimmee Golf Classic.
Oh, wow.
What a prize that is. So if you're a Jags fan, I think from my perspective, it's a no-brainer.
You have to. You have to be
to
entering
the
that.
Jaguars
That's
UK
awesome.
and Ireland social channels and enter that before 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve.
Nice.
All right. Back next week. What are you doing for Christmas? Reece, are you leaving your house?
No.
Are you leaving your front? Have you got a garden? Or is it?
I'm going back to my mum's, so I'll...
Will you be going outside at any
actually,
point in
I'm
the
going
day?
outside because we're driving to my uncle's, but I refuse to leave the house apart from that.
Okay.
So the only outside bit will
In
be
a
from
car.
house to car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no walks.
Yeah.
Frowned upon.
Reece, what's your favourite Christmas movie?
Oh, good question. Stuart Little.
Fantastic.
Oh, that is a rogue choice. Kee, what are you doing for Christmas?
For Christmas, I will be with the big dog, my partner.
Your daughter?
No, so I've had my Christmas with my daughter already.
Okay.
So we did that on Saturday, which was absolutely fantastic. So I get
Bless
2
her.
Christmas days.
She's a legend, by the way. She's
Yeah.
an absolute legend.
Yeah, she's the best. She gets 2 Christmas days as well. I bought her a camera. She's going to be a filmmaker. I'm so excited.
Oh, this is like Project Mbappe, but your version, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, my Christmas day will be big dog, swim in the sea in Brighton.
Is she aware you call her Big Dog?
No, the dog is big dog.
Oh, literal dog.
Yeah, Ellie is
Oh,
not big dog. It's an actual big dog. Thanks for listening to the podcast, Reece.
Favourite film? Christmas film?
Die Hard.
I knew you was going to say that. I knew it.
It's the only reason I ask
is it a
other
Christmas
people.
film?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, fair enough.
What about you, Jay?
My favourite Christmas film is a really soppy one.
The Holiday.
Such a good Christmas
I knew
film.
he was going to say that.
Why?
You're so Netflix and chill. You are so Netflix and chill.
What's wrong with? I feel like The
Nothing
Holiday's
wrong
a
with
good
it.
one.
Nothing wrong with
The
it.
Holiday-
You're looking down on me for giving
No,
for saying that answer.
No, I'm not looking down. I feel you, bro.
No one can look, Reece, you cannot, after your Patrick Murtaugh answer, you cannot look down on
At
anyone for anything ever again.
Agreed.
Well, I hope you two have a very Merry Christmas.
And
You
you, my
too.
friend.
And a
Thank
very
you, mate.
Merry Christmas to all Jacksonville Jaguars fans
We need it.
out there.
Yeah.
And we'll be back. We'll be back after Christmas in that weird spot before New Year's. That's right. Yeah, we will. You're looking at me like, will we? Yes, we will.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Okay. All right, we'll be back next week. I hope everyone has a lovely Christmas, all Jacksonville Jaguars fans out there. Teal Talk in partnership with Gallagher has been a Shooting Shark production for Jacksonville Jaguars UK and Ireland. Go subscribe on your podcast. Go subscribe on your YouTube. Keith, thank you very much. And Reece, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.